can't love me if you hate me. For sure. For sure. Oh, grab yourself a nice can of Coca-Cola and come join me on some painting. Once again, the old painteroo. That must look really weird on camera. Alright, time to open this bad boy up again. And yeah, I haven't even punched any of this stuff out. It's still all in its... all the cardboard is still as cardboard. Open this guy up here. I need to pull out the minis because that's what I'm doing today. Man, all kinds of little bugs and everything in here. Tons of dice and everything. Okay. This guy's out. I have no idea where these are going to go back into the proper pockets ever. I just pull them out. La 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 la. Not sure where they're going to go back in. I'm not even sure if I'm ever gonna like buy the rest of this game, like all the extras and shit. Who knows? Let's see what we've got here. Look, guys, we have our guy in the wheelchair. Pretty cool, eh? You know, never mind. I won't even go there. So yeah, these characters, I'm not like these. Are these even 28mm? Should I even be doing this? Okay, bugs, 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 more bugs. So we got 6 bugs here. So 4 heroes or 5. What the fuck? Okay, some guy in some sort of gear. And this fellow looks like a dude in a spacesuit. So I take it these 6 are the heroes. I haven't even played this game yet. Like I haven't even looked up how to play this. But I hear that it is so totally awesome, the game itself. It's a game where you're all part of a starship crew, and you each have a secret agenda, and you also have to pretend that you are working together, or or you actually are working together. So 3 of those. 2 of these. Like some huge. It's kind of like a half like praying mantis and something else. Just whack. It's going to be a ton of painting. This really reminds me. I did a full box and a couple of add-ons of Zombicide. What was the name of it? Zombicide Invader. Yeah. So it was Invader plus Black Ops and a couple other things. And I tell you, that was wow. That was hard. That was a hard 3 days of painting stuff. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to this, but at the same time, it's got to get done because I've heard so many good things about this game, and I've had it for like what, 2, maybe 3 months. And I haven't even cracked it open. I've been busy with 2 other role-playing game sessions, but it's now cut down to 1. So the first one was Castles and Crusades, so I had a group going on with that. And so that's been on hiatus until one of the players figures out what they're doing. The other 4, actually, one's figuring out what they're doing. I have one other as new dad, so we're giving him some time to. This is his 3rd child, so awesome. Congrats, Max. And the other 2 players out of that game, there was still another, which is my son, but he isn't playing in the new one, which is the we are playing what the hell are we playing? Oh yeah, Destiny and Discovery from Numenera. Another game that I will be exploring on, you can see the dice over here, is the Infinity role-playing game. I know the 2D20 system has been getting a lot of flack lately from the more conservative side of the groups out there for bending the knee, but I like Infinity, so, and that's the thing, Infinity is a miniatures intensive battle game. Although I don't play Infinity myself, I use the miniatures for playing Traveler, because they're really cool sci-fi, and there's a lot of really cool looking characters and stuff, and they're nice minis. They're all metal, although they're going to plastic now, but it's okay. Metal minis are becoming too costly now. So, wow, this primer needs to be thinned badly. So a little bit in my glass bowl here. I'm going to take a little bit of airbrush thinner, just a couple of drops in there. So I don't want you to do anything like really major. I just want to get this thing started so that I can get everything done. So let's start off with these guys here. Yes, I am painting on a ChessX map without any protection on my ChessX map. That's fine. It's what you got to do sometimes. I do have some paper that I can put down, but yeah, I just want to get things going. So I'm so sick and tired of putting this off. It's gotta happen. And no, there's no Dwayne on right now. I mean, I could check to see if Dwayne might want to pop on here, but right now I just want to paint. I just want to paint. Plenty of time for stuff later. Yeah, I do need a piece of paper. Grab something here just to put to the side, and so I got something to plop this miniature onto. Probably might do a couple coats on these guys. Who knows? I haven't decided yet. It's not bad. Just getting it all primered. That is the main thing. It's the first thing you need to do. Primer the minis. I will be using Bombay ink and this here, my airbrush. As you can tell, that airbrush had a little bit of white in it just a while ago. It's about time for a cleaning on that. And I'm just using a crappy brush because well, you don't really need a really good brush to get your minis primed. As long as it gets into all the cracks and crevices, that is the main idea. And this primer is the Vallejo primer. It is pretty awesome. It flattens out quite nicely. Like, you're not going to see, even if you're sloppy as shit, it's not going to it's not going to get all bubbly or anything. Or it's a nice, smooth, drying primer. So yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about miniatures. Some people don't use miniatures in role-playing games. Some do. Um, if I was playing like Traveler Snapshot rules, yeah, I would be using miniatures and placement and tactics because that's how you. It's a miniatures game. It's meant to be played that way. Um, Traveler itself as a role playing game. I mean, you can still use the miniatures. I use them in a and I told Shauna this. It was uh, it was to prevent what did I call it? Meta movement for on players because some players tend to forget that they are not in that area while you're describing a spot to say a couple of characters that had split off from the rest of the group and they suddenly want to be there too, and I don't know what it is. It's always happened, so it's just a natural want to be there during the action. So I don't view it as a thing that I would slap out my players on, but at the same time you want to curb that. So I find that miniatures is in an abstract way does prevent a lot of that. Here's our wheelchair bound character. I mean, wheelchairs in space. You have them in dungeons, so let's put them in space too. So yeah, miniatures. Dungeons and Dragons, I do like Castles and Crusades actually, which is kind of like second edition Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe even kind of more like original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I can't remember anymore. So many Dungeons and Dragons. It's been so long since I've actually played old Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, I never looked at it as a miniatures tactical game for Dungeons and Dragons. It was just more or less to eliminate that meta movement that sometimes occurs in games where you say, but you are not there, sir. You are over here. Not in that part of the dungeon, but the other characters. You are investigating this. Yeah, and that way, you remove that situation where, okay, these characters are going to this part of the space station. So you move the miniatures kind of arbitrarily over onto a graphic that has a space station. It doesn't have little squares on it or anything. It's got, it may have rooms or something like that, like showing in a kind of a scaled sense, like a blueprint. And it's not meant to convey any kind of movement phases or whatever. It's just stating that say these two characters are in this room and these three characters are in this room, and Mr. Bug shows up here, and these two characters, they realize, oh, they can't interact with this thing. They have to actually move there and then interact with the situation, but only, of course, if they hear what's going on or have a gist of what's happening. I find that works well, where if it's theater of the mind, you tend to have a lot more discussions popping up on where the players are, where they're going, what, if you've got it laid out, two guys here, three guys there, there's no wasting any time talking about where your characters are. You know where your characters are. If I'm the referee and the scene is with these two in this area, these two players know they're involved with that scene. If the scene is over here with these three and this bug, they know, these three players know exactly it's their time to act in the game. And I find that alleviates any kind of extra discussions on that kind of stuff, because you don't want all that stuff being asked and mentioned, and it just puts people out of the game. Like, I find it will wreck your immersiveness in that kind of sense. But it's a lot of give and take, you know. You can also play it with without the miniatures, but you're also going to have those questions popping up, because there's so much happening all the time that people's brains don't, people's brains can't always read the game master's mind. It's a little easier to show something in the abstract, and I tend to like to do that with my players just to get them on board. Once they've got the skills down, like, a lot of guys have been involved with this, 5e and stuff, and they haven't developed the skill sets for using the imagination in that way. Theater of the mind. So to gradually nudge them into that, tends to work a little better than giving them nothing that they're used to and expecting them to abide. I mean, it's just like training people at work and stuff like that. I mean, you give them you can give them a whole lot of stuff that they gotta watch videos on and everything, and it's just gonna go out in one ear, out the other, and they're gonna lose, a good 80% of what they've just watched on video, because it's literally hours of education that they have to go through, and then they have to do these tests and everything. So, and they have to do like 80 to 100% on the tests, depending on what it's about. And as a trainer, I don't expect them to retain even 60% of it. They can retain like 40% of what they're what they've just watched. I'm fine with that, because once they get them on the floor and teach them how to sell stuff, that is the important part. And then we go over all the practical stuff out there on the floor. How to approach people, talk to them, ask them the right questions without being crazy intrusive. You have to befriend a lot of, like, I come from a town where they had a place called Fisher's Hardware, and it's owned by some brothers. And Fisher's Hardware had been around for a long, long time. It's still around. It actually integrated itself into Home Hardware. And Home Hardware is a big company. And instead of them going full hardcore Home Hardware training, the Fisher brothers, the brothers at Fisher, they kept with the way that they were going, because they were actually very successful. They are a very successful store. It's just, it was a lot more easier for them to get better deals and everything by becoming part of Home Hardware, right? So all their stuff was being supplied to them. A little easier to get stuff, because it's sold to Home Hardware, the company, first in bulk, all that stuff that they carry, and then it goes, onto the floor. It gets distributed to different stores, like I said, and then onto the floors. And it's cheaper for them that way. They don't have to worry about logistics and stuff like that, right? And I can see why they went that way. But they kept that service, which was the mom and pop store service, and it made them very successful, even though they were dwarfed by the there's like 3 Home Hardwares in that area, plus Ace Hardware stores, and man, the competition is like, that's heavy duty. But I tell you, I'd certainly rather shop at their store than any other store, because you get actual customer service. And that's how I try to train my associates, is I get them on board with that. You gotta talk to the customers. Don't sound intrusive. You're trying to get an idea of what they're looking for. Get it to them fast, and they'll be happy. It's not that hard, but you gotta ask gotta ask the questions. You can't just assume what they're looking for. And sometimes customers will be kind of standoffish, because they don't realize, they think you're there for a commission. No, we're not there for a commission. We're actually honestly there to help them, not because there's no commissions in the store that I'm in. And you're honestly trying to find stuff for them. I mean, if you get a call out, like our company does surveys, so if you get a good call, a shout out on a survey, that's awesome. That's a bonus for you as an employee. It's just good to have the company say, well done, that we're really glad that you helped this customer. The customer's talking to his friends and telling them about the good service that he got at the store. And that's what you want. Because you don't want people not wanting to come to the store because the service is so awful and oh, the people are so annoying there, or they just won't help. So you gotta teach them to be subtle and get the right answers out of them the fastest way possible, and that way you can find what they're looking for. Sometimes people come in and they don't even know what they're looking for. They're just seeing what the good deals are. And if you don't know what the good deals are, well, then you're not going to be able to sell them anything because you're pretty much useless on the floor, right? You don't want to be that. And of course, I'm not going to have anybody on stream likely, visiting. I kind of know that because I'm not that big of a channel yet. I did get 69 subscribers, so well, I have 69 subscribers. So, thank you, subscribers. I appreciate it. And just to let you know, it doesn't matter how many subscribers I get, I will never monetize this channel. This is my hobby channel. This is where I try to have fun. And I don't know if any of you will pick up any information off of me which you will find good or satisfying in any way. I will just do what I do, and I will say things that work for me, that work for the groups that I game master for. And it was funny, somebody was talking about what is game master. Is it different than being a dungeon master? Well, a dungeon master is it's some sort of trademark now or something like that, so you can't really use that. You say referee or game master, just to encompass pretty much every game that's out there, even Dungeons and Dragons. We are painting black blobs on the screen. Black blobs. They don't really look like anything until I start airbrushing the white onto them. And then you'll actually be able to see some details and stuff. That's why I'm not really set up with a super close-up camera right now. It's just, it wouldn't make any sense. You'd just see black blobs anyways, and you wouldn't really be able to see any details yet. And if you didn't know, when I go ahead and airbrush everything, my airbrush booth is pretty much a cardboard box cut at an angle, and that's what I use. It works really well. I mean, acrylic paint really doesn't smell bad or anything. This stuff kind of smells like it kind of reminds me of candy. It's kind of got a candy smell to it, so that I do not mind. It's I don't know. It's kind of a weird. It just reminds me of candy. There's a lot of pokey bits on these guys. These are rather clean miniatures, you know? Very clean sculpts. Like there's no... I am not seeing anything on here that like mold lines and stuff. Is just like everything's pretty hidden. It's they're really good. Really nice sculpts. These are you know, these Xeno intruders, I guess they're called. They're called intruders. They're trying to stay away from being called alien or xenomorphs. I mean, these are going to be great sculpts to have in a traveler game too. If I go there, I don't use xenomorphs really that much, like that kind of those kinds of aliens. I mean, it's kind of I tried. I would use it like in a Halloween game. That would be it. That's why we're here. It's a Halloween episode. We are painting nightmarish things live. So yeah, pretty crazy looking space intruders. They have a vague, you know, xenomorph kind of look to them, but not. They got the wispy tail that a xenomorph would have. They got really wicked looking blade-like appendages that you would see on something from Dead Space. So, and they are kind of unique. Like they're not... I mean, they have some aspects from the TV or movie monsters, but they've got their own look to them too, which I will emphasize once I get these guys fully primered. Not sure if I'm going to go on for a super long time here as a stream, because I got to get up once again in the morning and get back to work for my short day on Sunday. And then I've got the usual Monday and Thursday off. And Tuesday I have a work day, but it's a good day also that I can also stream late, because I don't have to work the next day. But it is also, you know, it's also a work day too, where I've already done 9 hours of work usually. Because I have to make up for the missing time for the short day Sunday, right? So, because as a guy that gets salary, I have to put in a required amount of hours. So that has to be done. Yeah, it takes a long time to paint one of these guys up. Man, that's a lot of pokey things and appendages. They are, yeah, neat Neat looking monsters, though. I'm I'm gonna have to take a look at how they have them visualized on the imagery. I might go with the same color scheme. I usually do because, you know, it's kind of the flavor of the game. If you see the cards that look exactly the same as the creature that's being represented in front of you, then yeah, you know what it is. And it makes it easier to identify what you are playing with as an item. So I tend to go for that. That's what I did with all the creatures off of Zombicide. They all look exactly how they're represented in the cards and the literature, the rule books, so you know exactly what you are looking at. No questions asked. Yeah, I should have really thought about it ahead of time. You know, maybe getting this painted for a Halloween game or something like that. But there's too many other things going on right now. Too much involvement with work. And, you know, having game sessions and then trying to make YouTube content. I haven't made a lot of YouTube content lately pertaining to what I normally talk about and paint. But I am primarily a painting channel, so or, you know, building miniatures and stuff like that. That's what I do. Although a lot of my miniatures are board game related, but not the usual stuff that you would find in everyone's hobby shops. Usually have a lot of unique games which you can't get anymore or they're not available. And that's like Infinity Defiance. The board game is like not being reproduced by the company for some reason, which I kind of find sad. But at the same time, I have a unique game that only so many other people around the world have, so which is awesome. And it's the last of the metal miniature games that the company will ever put out, which will make it very valuable. And if I paint them all really, really, really nice, it becomes a treasure in itself. And that's what I try to do. This may not look like very this is all really basic, you know, slop it on kind of stuff. The magic comes up later when you got to start bringing out the details and everything. My poor wife's been sick all day, so I hear her crawling around upstairs. It's late. She probably wants to go to bed. Well, she said that she's been pretty much, she was trying to gain back. Like she woke up feeling okay, and all of a sudden she got sick. So I'm like, did you get the COVIDs? And she's like, fuck off, I want to puke. Yeah. So, I don't know. She got some sort of bug. Or, you know, something going on with the gallbladder or something. Who knows? We're getting old, so I just turned last month I turned 56, which means 4 more years I'll be 60. Crazy. Just nuts. I feel like I've lived a full life, so I'm okay if I up and croak like anytime soon. I've done enough things in my life that I wanted to do and had experiences with, so that's all good. Now, right now, I just want to be just doing hobbies. My job is kind of, you know, it's what it is. It's a lot easier than what I used to do, and I don't find it like a super hard thing to do. I just go with the flow. Just use the skills that I had developed from my other work, and just it works. It gets me results that everybody else above me likes, and that's the main thing. I don't know what age I'll actually retire at here. Who knows? I might retire early. I've been thinking about it. Yeah, but the wife is thinking about getting another house. I'm like, oh, not another house. I mean, right now I have property still back in the Okanagan, and I've got the house here. But Karen wants to have my wife. Her name is Karen. She uses she uses her name well. She knows about that Karen meme that everybody knows about, and she uses it to her advantage. She loves it when a customer comes in and says, "I'd like to talk to your manager." And she's like, "I am the manager. My name is Karen." You're not gonna out Karen me. Yeah, these guys take a bit of brushwork to get every nook and cranny. I think that's almost done. There's certainly a lot of little ridges in these tails. I do have actual xenomorphs that I gotta paint too, from the Aliens game. And I still haven't unboxed half of it. Like it's still in wrapper. I got all the extra soldiers in the game for that one too. The Ripley in the that lifter machine that she fights the Queen Alien with. And I've got the Queen Alien as well. And the main box set, so this is really mean and torturous, you know. Oh, and thanks for the thumbs up, whoever did that. Because this is brutal. You know, this is my second. The first thing I really hate about doing miniatures is assembling them. It is got to be the worst. I hate assembling miniatures. At least these are pre-assembled. Second thing I really hate is primering them. Like this part here, just putting black paint onto them. I am not having a fun time doing this. This is not joyful. I should be listening to an audiobook right now, which is normally what I would do. Like some Jack Vance or something like that, because I got all his stuff on Audible. And I've gone through I think I've gone through like one book and a half. Like it's a his stuff is like 20 some odd hours of listening per book. So they're not skimpy books, man. It's a lot of listening, and it's kind of cool listening to the old phrasing in the novels back then. It does not like you listen to a newer like Neil Stevenson novel and you compare it to the old prose that like not prose that was used in the old novels, Robert E. Howard and stuff like that, and it's so different listening to it, because it sounds like it just sounds strange. It's definitely writing of its age. Way things are phrased and presented, but it's great listening to that stuff, because you get so many ideas on how to image stuff in your when you're doing theater of the mind. They get the idea of what you are visualize, like they visualize it for you in a way that you're getting into the story, but it's not overly done. It's given to you in chunks where you can digest it with your brain. It's not like you're being overwhelmed with a whole bunch of information all at once, and you're going, what? What's there? And a who? And what's blinking? No, it's a little easier than that. It's like you go piece by piece. They talk about the overture of the room as the colors and stuff, and then it gets into there is a console, and then it gets into the detail of the console and what the actions are on that console, and or whatever they're talking about. It goes piece by piece. It doesn't like scramble your brains with a bunch of exposition that you're like, what does this even mean? Are we listening to a Japanese animation? Because those are chock full of exposition too. It's so funny. It's like Big Trouble in Little China. Watch Big Trouble in Little China. You'll get lots of exposition in it, but they do it in a comedic way. It's meant to be done that way. It's meant to mimic those Chinese and Chinese movies about kung fu and stuff like that. It's the way they convey the story with all kinds of background stuff. Things that happened many, many years ago. Yeah, so I'm kind of sad that I'm not going to get my Fu Manchu tank top in on time. But maybe next year I will don that with the lipstick smear on my face, and I will be Jack Burton. Shaker of the pillars of heaven. The check is in the mail. It's funny how that's not what happens anymore. Nobody puts a check in the mail anymore. Who does that? So funny how technology has changed everything. All of a sudden. It's gonna bite us. It's gonna bite us back. So many ways. It's just as a human society, we're hitting shock levels of Twitterverse. Twitter rules what happens in real life, apparently. So that's bad. Especially when half of the people aren't even allowed on Twitter anymore. So I'm not allowed on Twitter because a journalist didn't like what I said, so that's okay. That was my fun on Twitter. Didn't last very long. I don't miss it. Actually, I am allowed back on Twitter. It's just I don't want to give my phone number to Twitter. Thank you. In order for you to join back with Twitter, you must give us your phone number. No thank you. I decline then. Okay, well, you can't get back on. Okay. Fine with me. Why the hell they would hold your account ransom, but we'll let you back on if you give us your phone number. Thanks. Well, that sounds a little sketchy. Sorry. I don't want you to have my phone number to give it to other people. Thank you. It's bad enough. You get enough freaking phone calls from freaking whoever telling you that the government of Canada is coming after you for your taxes, your late taxes. You must pay now. The RCMP have been informed, which is our police. But it's all scam calls. Scam callers. Can't stand them scam callers. So somebody wanted me to get into like how I do some of the painting techniques and stuff like that, like taking some of the miniatures I've done and kind of explain what I've done to them to bring out some things. So it's something that I will do, definitely. I've got stuff that is really detail painted, and I have stuff which is just I do the best I can within kind of a time limit. So in some of the stuff, but I do very like intricate detail work when I need to, and if I'm doing it for somebody who wants to buy a miniature, and yeah, I put in a lot of extra effort into bringing out certain details, and it takes a lot more time painting everything because you want it to look really nice if that's the case. So far that's the extent so far. So I still have these guys, and these big mamma jammas. To go. Do I have water? Yes, I have water. Just need to brighten up that brush. It's already 11 o'clock. So, been at this for a bit. There I go. Slap on my Chessex map. I like Chessex. These are great, surfaces to work on. They're a roll-up mat, and sorry, I had to drink there. They're a good roll-up map, and excuse me. And I use the what we used to call the overhead projector pens on them. So it's very easy to wipe off. Actually, I use water will work. of the first day. If the ink stays on it for longer, it can stain it, especially if it's the colored pens. The black's not so bad, but colored pens tend to be a little bit more of an issue. So you use that. I find, what's it called? The orange. So you find that orange cleaner where it's got the citrus in it. Usually find it in hardware stores and stuff like that. Use that stuff on to clean off your mats. It will get off all the debris off of them, like all the ink debris, and we'll get into all the grooves and pull up all that mess and make your mat, Chessex mat, perfect, like it was when you got it day one. I swear. It is a little oily, the cleaner, so definitely use paper towel and clean it off as best as you can. And then once you're done that, take just a light detergent or some water with the dish soap in it, and then just give it a once over with that, with paper towel, and to dry it off, and you're good to go. It'll be nice and clean and ready to write on again. I learned that pretty quick. What is it called? Contractor orange that I used, and it worked awesome. And I'm like, stuff is perfect for cleaning this shit off. Because I had a situation where my son, at the time he was only a couple years old, did doodles all over my Chessex map because he was using his Wrath of a Chardalon miniatures on it. And he still has that game. He loves that game. He plays it with his nephew. My son, he's like 19 years old now, so he was my youngest. And he's also the one that plays in some of my Castles and Crusades games. He plays a wizard. They're like third. I think he's third level, going on fourth pretty quick here. And his character has a paranoia now. He read a manual and got the bonus from it, but he rolled a 1, so he also received a condition, and he has a fear of spiders. So whenever his character encounters spiders, he has to roll a save against his wisdom or start screaming. And that's all he does. He just starts screaming instead, and and that's what will happen if he fails. So fails his roll. It hasn't happened to him yet. He was very uneasy on his first encounter with a spider, and it queased him out. He was almost throwing up and feeling nauseous, and as his character. But he managed through it. He did make his save throw. So, but that's when he realized that he had this affliction. He knew he rolled a 1 at the time that that he read the book and he knew something bad did happen, but he didn't know what until it occurred. Until he encountered the spider. And then he realized how scared he was. So his insanity for his character manifests in either he's going to be screaming or he will be engaging that spider to use every spell in his arsenal on it or spell slot in his arsenal on it in order to kill it, which is a bad thing too, because you know your spellcaster is supposed to be pretty conservative on his spells, using them for different purposes other than just flaming something. But or in his case, he loves magic missile. This is magic missile, magic missile, magic missile. Don't you want magic missile? I don't mess with that magic missile. But it only does this much damage. Yeah, but I'm gonna hit it. I know. The other one that he likes to use is sleep. And that's where miniatures come in handy. You can spend such a long time on a discussion on where are you going. You realize that it will take up this much room. But when you have miniatures and you're using an abstract kind of usage of them, like you're not using them to be tactical, like I say, just using it to prevent any questions that may come up on where you're placed in the area. You know where you are. You don't have to ask questions about where am I standing in this situation or anything like that. You can see where the dais is. You know where those stairs are. I'll describe them to you, but I don't have to spend the time telling you the exact coordinates of each item in the room. It's already there. And I can quickly draw it on a Chessex map. It's no problem. I just squares, doors, circle here for this, square here for that chest, and that's all you need. I don't have miniatures for everything, so it'd be just crazy. Too much money spent on miniatures when you can spend it on your Nemesis. Spend it on your Nemesis. That's 4 more left. Look at that. I can maybe actually get through this entire stream by primering all the miniatures here for this game. Oh yeah, I still have one more small one there to do as well. These things are freaking huge. These are 1-inch squares, so you're looking at a miniature that's standing 3 inches tall. That's inconceivable. Well, yeah, voices. Voices as in RPGs? Do you guys use voices? I use voices. I don't use it to entertain my players, though. I use it for my own, um, as a game master, to get myself into a specific character. Just to, you know, it's kind of like actors when they do that. They go into that kind of like a trance to pinpoint that character. This is what he's gonna say, and this is how he's gonna act, and this is how he's gonna react to this situation. No, you can't do this. Yes, you can do that. No, I will not let you. So it's a tool for myself to get into character. Like the players get into character. I have to have a tool for myself to get into the brain of the character, and that's what I do. So from all those years of watching Flintstones, I highly recommend watching old Flintstones um, cartoons. You will get a lot of voices out of that. Uh, even a lot of the old Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner episodes, you will get a lot of voice mileage out of some of that. Muppets, you'll get a lot of voice mileage out of all those TV shows. And especially the Flintstones, because you're not going to be hearing what Cary Grant sounds like anymore. Like who in the youngsters out there know what Cary Grant sounds like? Or even John Wayne anymore, you know? It's And then there's a lot of legendary actors from the bygone era that come up in the Flintstones that you've totally forgot about. Like you'd have to listen to like a comedian like Rich Little, some of his old stuff, some of his comedy shows, because he does a lot of impersonation work, impersonating celebrities that have passed on. And if you knew some of that stuff as a game master, and your players don't know who you're imitating, it doesn't matter if you suck at the actual impersonation, because if you get down even part of it, it will come across as a new character, right? But yeah, I use it basically as a tool for myself, not for my players, for myself. It's not for my players' entertainment. It's for me as a game master to get into that mindset that I am this character now. I am the henchman that follows the group. I am the hireling that does the bidding of the players, and then has an argument over his pay later on. And it helps. It helps you kind of, and the players, it helps them too, you know. They know who you are when you talk in that voice. I don't do it for everything, but only for key element NPCs that the players will latch on to. So, or you know, or it's somebody that is going to be involved with the players in more ways than just one. So you're not just wasting a voice on somebody that the players aren't going to be seeing again. Because that's when you go into Skyrim mode and you use the cut and paste voices that you hear on certain NPCs that you hear repeated on other NPCs because they're just not that important. Oh my goodness. Will this ever end? All this painting. Let's see. Well, I could probably. I'm really racing time here on. I want to get this done before I sleep. And it is so close to that time that I got to go ahead and hit the hay. So close, but yet so far. Oh, so close here. Come on, come on, come on. Get all in there. Yeah. So, these guys have so much texture in them. It's crazy. Like, this poor brush is going to be just so... It's going to be roasted by the time I'm done all this. Synthetic brushes are great for this because, you know, they're just going to get thrashed. Thrashed. This is brush abuse. You know, and it's okay. I mean, if you have an airbrush, it's okay if you're missing spots. Because, you know, with the... When you're doing the zenithal highlighting, just to... Well, I don't use the zenithal highlighting for... like thin paint over top to glaze, and then you get that kind of show through of the zenithal on your paint. I don't use it that way. I just use it to pick up details because it's a great way to see where all those details are in a Zenithal highlighting, and which is fine. But sometimes my paint is a little bit too opaque for that Zenithal to be of any use, so I just use it as a way to have a guideline. I know where this object starts and ends on this character. So a sheet of paper here for these guys. Almost there. Two last big dudes. So my goodness. Yeah, and the Zenithal is really going to help on these because even as a straight gray you can kind of see with the shadowing, but when you get that Zenithal highlighting in there off of a black, then you can really pick up on the textures and get an idea of what kind of colors will work really well as, to kind of fade in and accent things. Especially these monsters, like they're going to be basically one color, technically, on the most part, except for certain, aspects of them, like certain plates and stuff like that. And you don't know what is going to be popping out until you get to that stage where you got the Zenithal highlight happening, the white on where the light is and everything else kept in the shadow. Makes it easier to go, those bones will look cool in a shade of green or red or whatever you're going for. I'll have to take a look at the imagery on the cards and stuff, or see if there's any imagery that I can find as an image on these creatures, and then go from there on how I'm going to paint these guys in color. What colors to use? Because yeah, and even some some that have already been painted. Oh, some people do use, well, I'm going to paint these like in the colors of the alien off of the movie Alien, or they're going to do something that's, well, I'm going to use the colors off of Plague Walkers or something, and emphasize them as that. So I don't know, looking at other people's miniatures doesn't help sometimes because they might be going off of a concept that's not going by what's presented in the literature, the rules. So yeah, there's a lot of alternative sculpts too, which you pay extra for. I didn't get any of that stuff. I did not buy this game through the Kickstarter. I bought this actually from my local game store because they had a copy of it and a bunch of other extras, and I was only interested in just the original board game itself, nothing more, because that's all you will really need for a good long while. I don't know how long they'll be producing this series for. if they will come out with any more add-ons or what, but we'll see how this goes with my first board game sessions with it. Make sure I get everything covered here. I'm missing a spot here and a spot here. All right, the big mama, the last one. She's got a little baby in her hand. How nice. It's the queen. Let me toss my critters at you. Critter tossing. Her baby guppling. This is it, guys. This last one. Then I'm shutting down the this stream. Whew. A lot of paint going down on here. So there's some pretty cool banded kind of armor going on this thing. And then all these horns and coming out of the headpiece here. It's gonna look, I'm gonna have some fun painting these guys. I like it when it's got some interesting texture on the parts of it that really lend to you think about what kind of color can I use to really make those look cool. There's a lot of teeth there. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun making this look like a real nightmare. I was kind of wondering what I was gonna do for, Halloween. So here we go. Now, whether or not I have a stream up tomorrow, still up in. I'm kind of debating it. I know that there's other streams going on at the same time, and a lot of you guys do watch those streamers as well. So it wouldn't be something that I would get a lot of initial like live interaction with. So I wasn't even expecting to even get the one thumbs up there from whoever did that. Once again, thank you. I wasn't even expecting anybody to show up for this, so I am just trying to get back into the groove here. I do have a lot of footage that I still have to go through editing, other miniature stuff that I was doing, and I hate editing. It's just a lot of effort, but I've got a new intro that I think I'm gonna be happy with. I hope you guys don't mind my music on here. Because I can't really use anybody else's. I mean, yeah, I could use like the stock music or whatever, but no, why? I've been playing my own music for, writing my own music and stuff for so long, and working with other creative music creators as well. I've got lots of stuff that I've recorded with other people where I've sang on their songs or performed guitar or bass. So why would I waste time, waste resources someone else's stuff when I can just use my own music because I can. It's there. It's already been done. Nobody's going to give me a copyright strike. So I guess I could give myself a copyright strike. There, you take that. Give you a copyright strike. Hey, Dwayne could come and copyright strike me on something. Hey, I performed on that. I'll see if I can get Dwayne on for tomorrow, if I do it tomorrow. But I'm, unless unless I'm actually on a stream with somebody on somebody else's stream or something like that. Yeah. I probably won't be streaming. There's going to be so many people streaming tomorrow because it's going to be Halloween. And there's a few guys that are into the scary, weird stuff. So I may as well do what I do today, and you guys can watch it tomorrow if you get really bored with watching everybody else's streams. You can watch my old stream here and be scared by my black beasties here. Because all you're going to be seeing is the solid black. Ooh, scary. These shadow creatures of doom. Shadow intruders. That's the funny thing. They call them intruders. They're too scared to fight off that potential lawsuit from Fox or whoever. Wow, that is a lot of painting. Still have a lot of thumbprints there on the base, but that'll all get covered up. My word. All right. There we go, everybody. That is... That's part of the battle right there. Part of the battle is getting on that black. I mean, yeah, I could have ran this through my my airbrush, but this primer it gets stringy if it dries, so that's the problem. It's very easy to get off the fingers, you know. The finger, because it dries in a kind of a weird way. I wouldn't be able to operate my phone right now. I need to set the time for me to wake up. Oh crap! My fingers are all black. I won't be able to access my phone. Okay, well, that brush is there. Holy crumb. Oh, my back. My back hurts. That, so, priming everything in, what, 2 hours? What? Oh, snap, crack, pop. I wonder if the mic heard that. Probably not, but yeah. All right, so next will be I let these guys dry overnight. Tomorrow Probably end up just spraying them with airbrush, and the Bombay ink. Dr. Phil, Dr. P.H. Martin, Dr. Phil Martin, Dr. P.H. Martin ink is what I use. It's opaque. It's very runny. You have to shake it up really good. So I use my oscillating shaker for that. And if you don't, it will dry. It'll dry shiny because it'll pick up too much of the what's it called? It's the stuff that it's put into. Well, the media that it's in, medium. So if you don't mix it up in the medium together with the pigment very well, what will happen is it dries shiny. So you want to make sure that this is good and shaken up and it dries flat. So you get the same problem with enamel paints too. So some enamels are meant to be flat enamels, but if you don't shake them up good enough and get that media mixed properly with the pigment, then it dries shiny. So same thing here. Same thing here, kids. When I buy these, I buy them in the, I think they're like a 12 pack. So you get 12 different colors all in a kind of like a circular container. I get them at the, what's the name? Michael's. I get them from Michael's. And I usually have, I wait until it's that you get the coupon scan code for at least 40%. You want to have at least 40% when you pick these things up, because otherwise they will cost about 70, 80 bucks Canadian, and then to pick them up for 40 bucks or 45 is a nice difference. Because these will you get a lot of ink in one of these. So they're not a small bottle. They're not a huge bottle, but it's enough there to do a lot of painting, a lot of spraying, anyways, with the airbrush. So it works for me. I'm going to bed, and yet I'm finishing off a Coke. Crazy, eh? I want to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for DM James for the shout outs and stuff. Back in the day. And all the rest of the guys that out there in YouTube land that mention me in their videos too. Appreciate it. Anyways, that's it for today. It's enough. When you see these next, they will be all done with the spray over top of it. And so then we'll get into the nitty gritty of painting them up. We'll see what happens. See what happens tomorrow if I do a stream or not. It's going to be a competitive night, so we'll just we'll do what we I'll see what happens. Maybe Dwayne will come online and we'll get talking or something. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for tuning in.